I know y'all caught my baby saying, naked, naked. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
How are you doing? We are live only on YouTube. No more are we live on Facebook and any other platform, just YouTube. So thank you for joining us here on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Please, hey, whoever that first person just came in, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. So yeah. But welcome, you guys. Appreciate you being here. I'm having deja vu right now. It's just kind of cool. But thank you for being here. Whoever you, let us know who you are when you come in. Welcome to Tag Team Marriage. Welcome.
Hey, and if you clicked on the link from your Facebook because you saw it on Facebook, you won't be able to comment unless you're on the YouTube channel directly, unless you come through YouTube directly. So if you click the link coming from Facebook, go ahead and come to YouTube and join. Hey,
Paul. Paul Day.
All day. Good evening. Good evening. I see three up here.
Giving people an opportunity to get on here. Mm-hmm. And as always, while we're letting people get on here, there's a power couple in the house. I'm sure that there are many power couples out there. Join us in being a power couple that unifies together in total unity of yoga, love, comedy. Okay. Yeah. Welcome. So our power couple shirts, and of course, a cord of three strands cannot be easily broken. That is from the wisdom of Ecclesiastes 4:12. It's me and her and our spiritual father joined together in unity. Always. So, and as always, look, we are getting to the deadline. We've invited our family members, and some of them are being lackluster about it, but we are having our wedding. Our first anniversary is our wedding. Is a wedding for us, a second wedding, our biggest wedding, at the Georgia Aquarium, which will be catered by Wolfgang Puck. All we need for you to do is RSVP by going to tagteamwedding.com, tagteamwedding.com, and RSVP for the extravaganza of a wedding at the Georgia Aquarium, where we will have food catered by Wolfgang Puck, as well as the view of the whale tank and the beluga whales. You'll be able to take your pictures, enjoy the evening, and have a great time dancing with us at the Georgia Aquarium. We appreciate you, and we're going to have a whole weekend of it. That's all we're going to say about it, because we're not going to beat you over the head with it. If you have an RSVP, then no, well, too bad. You ain't going to be that so sad.
Yeah, if you have an RSVP, it's really becoming too late. We can only have 200 people for the ceremony itself, but the reception, there's a larger amount of numbers. Right. But if you want to be there for the ceremony and enjoy the entire day and see the beauty of the ceremony, you have to RSVP like ASAP. Because we gave a deadline of December 31st, and within the time of giving that deadline, we had a lot of RSVPs.
Yeah, that was funny.
Pour in.
We gave y'all a deadline. It's like, RSVP then. And go ahead and do this, guys, because when you get into the holidays, you know y'all gonna be like, I gotta buy this, not gonna buy that. It'd be too late anyway, so we're gonna keep moving forward. So that took up what, about 5 minutes? Nope, 3 minutes.
It took 3 minutes. Okay.
3 minutes. Okay. So as we get ready to move into this holiday season, we know that you guys are gonna have a great holiday season. You're going to enjoy your family, that sort of thing. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay wise in all that you do. Stay together, click together. The good thing about when it gets cold, cuffing season. So
it just had to get cold.
Just had to get cold now. We've been cuffing all the time.
I'm like, really? It didn't have to get cold. It could be hot. Lukewarm.
All right. So once again, because I know some of y'all are listening on the Facebook link that we sent. If you're doing that on your phone and you desire to comment, you have to go to your YouTube app. If you're on a laptop or a tablet, go to your YouTube and then click on Tag Team Marriage. Click on this live video. That way you can comment. But if you just want to listen, then just listen. All right. That's cool too. So, and anybody who comments after this, we will try to get to your questions as well. Tonight, we are going to discuss a question that came about from almost 2 weeks ago
Mhm.
when we did a what was that thing we did? A Zoom for this
Yeah,
young
part of
on
the
this
Zoom
part
meeting.
of a Zoom meeting. And we one of the questions in that meeting we weren't able to answer. So we're going to answer it here. We're going to talk about it here because it was a really good question. And that question was,
Can your love language change based on the person that you're with?
hmm,
That was the question. Can your love language change based on the person that you are with? So, what do you all think?
yeah, get your statements ready.
Mm-hmm.
And before we go that, why don't we go down and talk about what are love languages, honey? I've never heard of such a thing. Go ahead.
So, people tend to get love languages confused to like exactly what it means. Your love language is about yourself. It's not about your spouse. It's not about your significant other. It's about the things that speak to you, the love that you, how you receive love. Simplest way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
The best way that you receive love. So how do you receive love? What's your love language? So some people kind of get it twisted. And I think that may be where the question came from. The thought of what it actually means, what love language actually means. And when you don't understand your own love language, you don't understand what you desire, then it tends not to be the best match because you're in a position where you're somewhat trying to please the other person, thinking, well, this is what I want to do because love language.
Right.
So you're trying to please the other person, but you're missing the point of you have to first be pleased. You have to first understand how you are loved. Like what makes you all warm
What
inside?
makes you feel loved?
What makes you feel loved?
So, what are the five love languages?
Oh wow.
Putting her on the spot, y'all.
Words of affirmation may not be in order, but however it's written. Words of affirmation, physical touch, um, gifts, receiving gifts.
Mhm.
Um, shoot, what's the other one?
Acts of service.
Acts of service. And what? Can't remember. What did I say? Words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, acts of service. What's the fifth one?
I don't know. I'm drawing a
You
blank.
can't
Myself.
remember. You drawing a blank. You're looking at me.
I don't. I had them, and then when I
Yeah.
asked you about them, I was like,
They left your
it
brain.
completely left my brain. But
They
you
left
know
your
what?
brain.
There's this miracle thing that was created. You know what it was called?
The internet.
It's called the internet. All
It's
right.
Google.
Google that thing.
Google. Just click on it,
I
man.
know. I was trying to see if they had just missed it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Audible. So
Oh, hold on. Click on
yeah,
that.
that's
Do
what.
images. Images should have one. There you go.
All right. So because we messed that all up, let's look at it. So you got words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving it, quality
Quality
time,
time.
and acts of
Acts of
service.
service.
All right.
Yep.
Those are the five love languages based on.
How
So,
to speak your
so the
spouse.
question is like everybody has a combination of these love languages, but some are more pronounced than others. So for instance, for me, physical touch is my primary. Right, that's number one. And then after physical touch is words of affirmation. Then it's quality time, acts of service, and then gifts. All right, those are my five love languages in order of importance to me. And what the question that the young lady asked was, can your love language change based on who you're with? And to understand that, like my primary love language is physical touch. My wife's primary love language is receiving gifts. Now, because I think part of the reason why that question was asked, in my opinion, is that oftentimes a person will love you based on how they receive love.
Mm-hmm.
So my baby's love language is physical gifts. My baby, I mean physical gifts, I know, receiving gifts. So because that's how she received love, it is also a primary way of how she gives love. So she is the one that buys all these shirts and gets all these shirts and be like, oh, look, I got us some shirts. And she will buy me gifts and all these things. And buying and receiving gifts is like at the bottom for me.
Mm-hmm.
But what you have is a person will start. The question is, can my love language change to receiving gifts because that's how my wife loves me? Will my wife will, and I think physical touch was third on your list.
Yeah.
Physical touch was third on her list, on her love. So because that's first on mine, and I'm always groping my wife because I grope the hell out of my wife all the time. Um, but it's not just rubbing on her, groping her, grabbing the butt and all that kind of stuff. But it's also the other last night. Was it last night? Your shoulder was hurting.
Night before.
All right, night before last, middle of the night, her shoulder was hurting. I wake up to that, and the first thing I start doing is rubbing her shoulder, massaging her shoulder. That's happening. Now that's a combination of acts of service and physical touch. But when we sleep, I want to hold her when we sleep. It doesn't even have to be sexual. It's just I want to hold her when we sleep. Physical touch. Is she getting used to that and spoiled with that? And now, like, if I don't hold her, would she be like, "You ain't hold me, man? Like you rolled over after my shoulder was killing me." You know, can it change? Do you start to receive love in the way that is given to you, even though it may not be your love language? And when you think about it in those terms, it's not that your love language changes, you just adapt to their love language and understanding that's how they receive love. So that's how they're giving love. And now you are able to receive love that way, but it is still not your primary.
Right.
You still, that ain't going to satisfy it. It is, right. Yeah, we're not going to convert. This is not. I'm sorry. Some of you youngins wouldn't get it, but you may not even get it. Well, because you grew different. History of the World.
Mm-hmm.
The Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the song?
No, I mean, sing it. I remember.
Because I was like, will you convert? No. Yeah. Will you say yes? No.
Yeah.
Will you convert?
I remember that.
So that just popped in my head. So that's why I laughed. Sorry. Sidebar.
So yeah, that makes sense. It's not necessarily that your love language changes. It's just that you adapt to what your spouse enjoys. What because normally, like you said, we give love the way we want to receive love. Mm-hmm. But the real sign of maturity in a relationship is when you realize that how your spouse receives love is how you have to set your mindset. Mm-hmm. And you want to give that to them the way they accept it and they want it. So it can, it can truly be felt. Like, he'll accept the gifts and he'll be like, oh, thank you. That's nice. And I'm like, thank you. That's nice. My expectation is for there to be more. But like you said, that's like low on the totem pole for him. It is not that he doesn't appreciate it, but that's not what gets him going. That's not what gets him going. This kind of thing gets him going. Ooh. Just, when we're driving, riding, we said this before, and, just touching him or feeling on him in some type of way, that's what gets him going. That's how he receives love and how he feels loved. Oh, that's another one. Yeah. How you feel love.
And you got to combo that thing up. Be like, touch, and then be like, baby, you did so good today in your presentation.
Right.
Get that business. Come on now. Those words of affirmation with the touch.
With the touch.
Man, what you talking about? you gonna get everything that you want then. Like, what you want? What you want? Or even in the reciprocation thereof. Mm-hmm. Meaning. Mm-hmm. Here's a combination. Think about this, people. Mm-hmm. I give my baby a gift, right? Now she just said, "Oh, thank you, baby. I appreciate that." But my love language is physical touch and words of affirmation.
Mhm.
If you just say, "Oh, thank you, baby, I appreciate it. You got me flowers. You're so sweet." But if it's, "Oh, baby, thank you.
Mhm.
You got me flowers."
Then
That's like, oh hell, she about to get some more.
both have been met.
What else? Because then it's it's what you say the other day. You reap what you sow.
Mhm.
That is, I sow the seed of her gift, and I reap the harvest of my physical touch, right?
Mhm.
And in reversal, you know, of that is the my baby like giving me my physical touch, giving my words of affirmation. Then when I'm out and about, I'm thinking like, you know what, get my baby something, you know, because she's showing me that love. Let me return that love. Let me give it
Mhm.
back to her, you know. And many couples mess up because sometimes people mess up because they receive their love but don't return back the other person's love. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm changing my love language. What
Right.
that means is that my reciprocation of the gratitude for her showing me love, I'm reciprocating it back in the way that she received love and not always in the way that I receive love. Oh, she touching me on my head, so let me touch her on my head
Mhm.
while she driving. That ain't gonna work.
Mhm.
That's not the same thing. But when she's showing me that love, it's the maturity, another level of maturity in the relationship is me demonstrating that right back to my spouse in the way that she received love. It's not necessarily changing my love language, but it's showing her that I'm grown and I want to make sure that she knows my appreciation at a deeper level than just thank you.
Right.
Right?
Right. No, no, no. I
She's
wasn't
scrolling.
scrolling.
Yeah, she's scrolling.
No, I am scrolling, but I'm scrolling because
I told on you.
we've made a shift in how we do this, and I just want to make sure because sometimes people will message me and be like, "Where are y'all?" Because they're not used to it. They're used to.
Oh, because they can't read. Because we done told them.
Yeah, but most people kind of they
Sure, but
most people just kind of skim by. So I'm just making sure because I got messages before like, "Oh, y'all not doing it tonight," and I have to leave them there. So no, it's just people do things differently. But people don't always read. Anyway, as you were saying,
I wasn't doing it.
no, I was
You were
just
scrolling.
no, I'm sorry.
But no.
I wasn't scrolling to ignore you guys.
So
I wasn't. I was trying to look to make sure we weren't missing anyone.
I'm gonna pick on my baby. So as I was saying, is that we have to recognize though. We have to recognize. Stop it. We have to recognize that we can't be so worried about changing our love language as much as showing adjustments of gratitude within our love language to demonstrate our thankfulness.
Because this is the downside to it.
Yeah.
This is the downside to adjusting your love language.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, adjusting your love language to the person that you're with. When you adjust your love language to the person that you're with, you take away from what you really want. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest with them, which cannot really promote true growth in your relationship. Because if I don't totally understand him and what he wants, everything I do is actually for who?
You.
It's for me. So if it's not for me, if it's not for him and it's for me, I'm not focusing truly on his needs. Mm-hmm. So the downside to changing your love language because you're with someone and it's different, is not productive. It may look fine, it may work well for a while. Then you get to the point where you get agitated because you're not getting what you want really. Mm-hmm. And you find yourself feeling like I'm always giving, and I'm not receiving. And that's because you weren't honest with yourself, you weren't honest with your spouse, or you just did not know. It's possible that you just did not know.
Because you do have those people who are so adaptive to other people, where it's like if your love language is gift and you're giving, I give you gifts and you demonstrate and you love that, and then you give me gifts. I'm saying, oh, well, because I want to be with you, let me be excited about you giving me gifts, even though that ain't my love language.
Right.
I'm going to adapt and make it and force it to be my love language.
Right.
But then after a while, I'm going to feel like, you don't touch me.
Right.
You don't kiss on me.
And then it's like, but I'm always
giving you
doing it.
this, and
I'm
you
always doing that.
Right.
But it's not
I
it's
thought
not
you liked the
necessarily what
gifts.
you want.
I thought you liked the money.
So because we're always transparent, and this is real. This is what happens in life. This is real. And someone else may be dealing with the same situation. We fell into that situation. We fell into that situation where he was not fulfilling my love language, my initial love language. And I will say over and over again, hands down, this is the best man I have ever been with in my life.
Oh, sorry.
This is the most consistent man I have ever met in my life. And consistency, everybody that knows me knows consistency is major for me. Is major for me. So that was really honestly the part of him that won me over. That was the part of him that made me say,
It was these good looks and the beard.
it was that part of him that made me decide I do want to do this again. I want to try again. I want to be in love again. I want to, go toward this relationship to marriage and all of that stuff. His consistency. And that was important for me. That was necessary for me. That was
Come on,
important.
talk to the people
That
now.
was important. You guys stop doing the, what do you call it? You and Kaden? When y'all do the look? The smoke. What is it?
Smoke.
Smoke. Here's my
Smoke.
nephew. Here's my nephew. Wait, real quick. What would Kaden do?
Smoke.
Kaden, I wish y'all could see him do it. He cracks me up.
Have a drink.
But so we fell into um that point of where the focus of what my love language was, he really wasn't getting it. And it was like, okay, no matter what I do, it's not enough. Like if I buy you an Ariel bag or whatever, which he's done, that's not enough. It's kind of like, well, what else you got? And it really wasn't the thought of what else you got. It just wasn't consistent enough for me based on my love language. Him doing that. Just the small tokens. And that's a process and a part of us learning one another and realizing what is necessary for my spouse for me to make them happy, for me to realize that this is what they need. It's not about what I need, it's about what they need. Because, of course, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
So, and there were moments where, of course, he got irritated and he got upset about it. And it was like, well, I'm just not going to do anything. And then, of course, he'd come back and be like, okay, well, that was just, I was frustrated or whatever. And, I'm going to try hard and I'm going to do better. And on the same token, the physical touch was lacking for him. Like when we would be driving or whatever. He put his hand on me. He always want to hold my hand when we're driving, and that's not something that I would naturally reach over and do. So, it was like, okay, I just want to touch. I just, this. If we're sitting beside each other, if our legs are touching, so we're like this, your leg.
They can't see my leg.
I know, but I mean, they can get the dramatic, so they can get the so if we're not touching, while we're sitting here, he needs that. He wants the leg to be touching, and he wants to be close. So, I was lacking in that area. Oh, and initiating the touch.
Right. It's always me doing it, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not you showing me.
Right.
That's
right.
just you receiving my.
I'm receiving. Right. So we're in the car, and he puts his hand, and then I don't just like this or whatever. Like, okay, like he said, it's just him doing it, but not me actually doing it to him.
Right.
Not me giving. So it's a process of learning one another. Hey, now touching is good. Yes, it is. It's a process of us learning one another's love language
Mhm.
and understanding how important and vital it is.
Yes. And let me jump in because let me tell you how you can mess it up,
Mhm.
even when you think you're trying to fix it. You have to show gratitude for what your spouse does in your love
Mhm.
language. If they are met with negativity about it being done, it's not going to get better. It's not. It's going to cause them to not want to do it. So if I were to if I were to come to her and be like, you know what, you only touch me when I tell you to touch me,
Mhm.
or you only do it when it's convenient for you, or when you want to do it.
Mhm.
And then, but she's like, but we was riding down the street and I was touching you on the back of your head. Yeah, but that was only because it was convenient for you, or you wanted something, or I said something about it. Then it's going to be a situation where the person is going to be like, well, I don't, well, why am I doing this? If every time I do it is met with a negative, then why do it? Because if I do it, it's going to be met with another negative. And if I don't do it, it's going to be met with a negative. So hell is all negative. So why do it? So the reason why I'm saying that is that you got to realize that positive reinforcement is always going to be better,
Right.
than negative reinforcement.
Mhm.
And even when you do need to bring it up, there's a way to bring it up. There's a way to bring it up. Baby, I know that you love me, and I know that you want me to feel love. When we're driving, it would be great if you would touch me more or initiate intimacy more. If you initiate it, it will make me feel more love because I know that you love me and I know that you want me to feel love. And all I did there was affirm who she is in our love, give her a talk about the issue, not making it a personal thing, but just talk about the issue, criticize the issue, but then reaffirm that I do know that she loves me. But if it is, if you don't do, you don't do, you don't do, I haven't felt, I haven't felt, I haven't felt, you don't say, you don't say, you don't say, and there's no positive reinforcements,
Right.
then that person is going to walk away feeling like all you do is nag, nag, nag. And ain't nothing worse than a man who nags. Just be honest,
Ooh-wee.
a nagging man is like,
Mm.
you know. So, which ladies, I'm gonna go ahead and say, men know that a nagging man is so. Instead of nagging, Bessie Sue over there next door, she ain't nagging. She ready and willing. Just saying, it ain't right, but I'm just saying it's the mind starts going right.
Women also, most definitely.
Yeah, women also true. I'm just saying, men are more apt to just say,
Yeah, I
forget it.
mean,
Then you ain't gonna get to Jezebel Jenkins. She bagged my groceries just right yesterday at Kroger.
oh my goodness, Jezebel is bagging groceries.
Yes. Like, sir, do you want the bananas next to the cream?
Oh.
Mm. How do you like your oranges bag?
You ain't got no sense. You ain't got no sense.
Jezebel Jenkins, y'all. Jezebel Jenkins.
That was a side note for nagging. Yeah, a man or a woman. But yeah, he's right. It's nothing worse than a nagging man. Or
Y'all saw
because
the look on
men,
her face when he said that.
because men nag too. Lord, yeah, there's
Mhm.
nothing worse than that. But anyway,
so
those love languages.
men, you got to know how to. We all have to know how. Men got to speak up first of all. Don't hold it in. But we still need to know how to do it. How do we talk to our spouses to make sure that they understand that, hey, look, I'm not feeling my love language. I'm not feeling love. And and if you feel like you are giving all the time, like you're changing, you're not really changing. You're just adapting to make your spouse feel more love.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So don't feel like you got to change yourself. You're not.
Right.
You should give your spouse him or her love based on really it should be a gratitude thing and not a who go first thing.
Right.
It should be just I know that you love me, so I'm going to give you love the way that you receive love.
Right.
And it should be the vice versa, go the other way. but it shouldn't be, well, you know what? I bought you flowers. I bought you another mermaid. And you know what I'm saying?
Never buy enough
Right.
mermaid.
I bought you another mermaid. So what are you gonna do for me? Or I bought you this. Get some liquor. Don't get some. You know, there shouldn't be that. So it's kind of weird because you shouldn't have the expectation, but yet you should. If you're with a good partner, really loves you, you should expect it, but not expect it.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying,
Right.
you should know that your lover is going to be like, you know what? I know that when I come home and I got this and I did that, or I set the mood, or you know, I know that she came home and like if words of affirmation. My bae had a new customer, well, not customer. What do you call your people? Clients.
Right.
New family want to go into her daycare, and you know, the words of affirmation when she told me how it went and everything was going, like, all right, good job, baby. You the best. You know what? Of course they want to be at your daycare. Where else would they want to be? You know, let me give these words of affirmation. Like, let me tell her I'm proud of her. Let me tell her those things. Right. So that when she comes in, and then when she came in today, she's like, where's my husband? Where's my man? You know, and then I'm like, I'm upstairs and I'm like, yeah, you know, right here, guy. And then, you know, I pulled a shower door because I'm thinking, like, give me some sugar, you know. And it just, what that does is it just becomes this rolling ball of just a positive, lovely evening. And if you focus on each moment just being that rolling ball of powerful, loving moment to moment to moment, it begins to snowball. And then all you're doing then is looking for more ways to love each other,
Right.
which will minimize your freaking arguing and issues and stagnant feelings and that sort of thing, because it's like it would be like the darkness trying to come in and all the lights are on. It'll be like the moon trying to shine in the middle of the day. Now, sometimes you can see the moon in the middle of the day, but most of the time you cannot. You don't see the moon in the middle of the day, and even the light from the moon is negligent. You can't even really see any reflection. You can't even tell if the moon is giving light because the sun is so bright during the day. So if your love is so bright during the day, even the light from the moon can't show itself. It can't shine. It's all coming from there. So if your love is in that movement, your love is in that movement, then you can't. Then the negative part has very little to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I said, why you didn't pull her in the shower? Because we were they were downstairs waiting for us to eat dinner, so we had to eat dinner. We have a little something we working on that we had to take care of.
Yeah.
Before we started tonight, so don't worry, it's still in the shower. Mm-hmm. How are you, Hearns? How was your day?
I gotta say at least once. What? Hearns Pierre Louis.
So Hearns, real quick, if you see the name Paul Rogers on the screen. That's my sister and her husband.
Paulette.
Yeah, we call him Paulette. It's Paul and Claudette. Claudette, this is Hearns. Hearns is from New York. We chatted at the end last time. We chatted at the end. It was so much, we was just popping back and forth about New York. Hearns say he's good. He's jealous. The southern dude is jealous. It's okay. So anyway, so Hearns, is your lady on with you tonight? Are you working?
Yeah, you working last time.
Yeah. Yeah. She said, "What up, yo?" Yeah.
Hearns handling that book.
Oh, hers is at work. Okay.
He works for the transportation. Mm-hmm. He say he drive buses or something like that. Yeah. See, we remember stuff.
Oh, overtime. All right. Okay, yeah.
That morning.
Yeah, get it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Things happening. Things happening overtime.
So we got to make sure. It is not so much that we're changing our love language, but we do need to adapt to a certain degree of ensuring that we're giving our spouse their love in the way that they receive
They
it.
receive it.
And our spouse needs. And here's the thing: you should have a grown-up conversation about it,
Right.
not just hoping things work out. Hearn said he's trying to reach that 150K by the end of the year. What the hell? I
What?
need to go up there, but lives in the lifestyle down here. 150K living in Atlanta. It's totally different from 150
Yeah, it's
living in
totally
New York.
different from living in New York.
Yeah.
But you get that, bruh. Get
Get
that. Mm-hmm.
Do like most of them New Yorkers. I'm gonna get this money, buy my house, sell my house up there, and then come live in Atlanta lush. But yeah, make sure to have that adult conversation. We're so afraid to have it. And it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day, because me and my wife had an adult conversation last night, had a very adult conversation. It didn't come from this, but I recognized and thought about this later after we had that conversation. The night before,
Mm-hmm.
my baby was watching this show, This Is Us,
Mm-hmm.
and they had an adult conversation
Oh
that
yeah.
has a slight similarity to our adult conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was afraid that, yeah. And they had an adult conversation on the show, and then after they had their adult conversation, me and I don't, one of us said, you know, we see that on TV. It always don't play out like it does on TV,
Mm-hmm.
but we need to have more of these adult conversations. And then it just, this is why, serendipity, energy, flow, law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, God. We saw that on that show. We talked about it. And then we had a issue that we needed to handle.
Mm.
And after we had that issue, we had an adult conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
When so often we don't have an adult conversation, we would have an argument. But we had an adult conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to be able to sit down and be adults enough to say, you know what? Here's the thing, babe. Your love languages are just A, B, and C. Those are your top three. My top three is A, B, and C. I'm not going to change my love language to yours so that it's easier for us, because then I'm always going to be lacking.
Right.
But what I will do in gratitude and because I love you, but first because I love you, so let me rephrase that. What I would do because I love you and what I would do in gratitude of you is that I will show you love in your love language because I love you. And then when you show it back to me in gratitude, I will show you more. And then when you show it back to me in gratitude, I will show you more. And then when you show it back to me in gratitude, I show you more. And when you show it back to me in gratitude, I show you more. You see how that becomes an infinity norm between the two of you? And your wife should look at you and say, you know what? I know, same thing in reverse. I love you, so I'm going to show you love in the way that you receive love. And then in gratitude, you're going to show me that love back in the way that I receive love. And it becomes a dualistic infinity of love because it's going back and forth because you love each other and in gratitude for one another, demonstrating that to you. And there's nothing wrong with saying that I'm doing this for you because I'm grateful for what you did for me.
Right.
We should. We tell children that all the time. Right? Somebody gives you something, we tell a child, tell them thank you. Show them some gratitude back. They came to your birthday party and brought you some gifts, so you need to take them something back. Mm-hmm. You got invited to dinner, so bring the cheese.
Right. Bring the cheese. I said my wife and I watched this show on the OWN network. Black couples talking about their relationships, the trials and tribulations. What was the name of that? If you can remember the name of that show.
Yeah, because we actually love watching those shows like that where they're showing couples, especially black couples, be great. Showing couples who are like having these conversations. There's one that we watched where it's these couples in therapy up in New York.
Yeah. And it's actually couples.
It's real. Yeah, I had to ask my baby the other day. I was like, "Are these real people?"
It's actual real couples going through couples therapy, and their therapist even has a mentor that she goes and she talks to because when you hear people's issues and problems all the time, I'm sure it's taxing on your emotions.
He'll be back, so he can get that info.
Okay. Okay.
Really
Um.
on his phone.
Yeah. Okay, Ernst, thank you. So, yeah, it's called couples therapy, and they literally are. And sometimes we watch it, and there are points that hit home, and we're like, I'm like,
Like, let me do like Marine Corps. That way, no fingers are pointed back at me.
And it is good to hear how that particular therapist kind of helps them, talk through and go through those
Right.
different issues and those different things.
Because in all of this, it is not for like us to tell you how to do things, but it is for us to help you come to the realization, your own realization of how you should do things. We do the same thing when we talk to our therapists, when we talk to our family members that we can trust. It is a true understanding of, you know, their words are to help us come to that realization within ourselves to do what we need to do,
Right.
to make our relationships stronger, to make our relationships work, and to make them work for ourselves and our mate.
Right.
Right? Don't leave yourself out of it. You need to make these things work for you too. Oh, I've seen it. It's a documentary called Black Love. Didn't we see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we saw
Well,
that.
we started watching it because there's several seasons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's
Right. I
several
remember
seasons of it.
watching. So is it back on or something?
I mean, they may have been watching old seasons, or I don't know. Yeah, it may be new seasons, but it's definitely worth
Like
a
during
watch.
summer or something.
Yeah, Claudette and Paul. I don't know if y'all, it's on the OWN network. And yeah, and it's called Black Love. Okay, so we're gonna have to check it out. Oh yeah, yeah, Black Love was good. Real couples talking about real issues, ups and downs, and how they got together and how they stayed together. And yeah, so it's definitely a good show to check out. But I mean, back to what we were saying, we have to understand that love languages are real.
Very.
It's just not something that someone made up just to say, okay, this is something else to talk about with couples.
Yeah.
It's not just something else to throw out there for people to try to navigate through. It's a direction to go to understand yourself and understand your spouse.
Right.
And if you get those things down, like, can you imagine the peace and serenity and happiness and love and affection in your household when you focus on your spouse's love languages?
Yeah.
Because it's not just one. There's several. They say it's at least two that you focus on. At least two, and know what those two are. So they're little tests and things you could take. And we tend to come back to love languages quite often. That a lot of our shows or our evenings talking with you guys, we hone on in love languages because they are real.
And when you have those, I mean, it's so many. You approach problem. You approach challenges much differently when you're constantly in a state of love with your spouse. Right? It's kind of like when you're working with people. If people are there just for the check, then everything is a problem.
Right.
But when people are there because they're inspired to do the work and they're dedicated and to do the work, then everything comes up more as a challenge to overcome, and everybody comes at it more succinctly and with more unity to overcome the challenge because because you're working as a team. So when you're married, when there's a lot more focus moment to moment on providing that love language for your spouse, then when you do face an issue, you come at it with more love, more peace, more soundness, and here's the big part: your ears are more open. Right? Your ears are more open. You're more willing to accept criticism from your spouse because, especially if they affirm you, if they're constantly loving you, showing you love, then even in that, they're constantly affirming you. And then when they do have a criticism, it's usually going to come more lovingly. And then, of course, that afterwards, after you get through it, you're going back into your love cycles. So you're going to be reaffirmed over and over again. So you don't let challenges be a major distraction in your life because we going I can come to my baby. I know if we are living in that love life that way, or if we're in I'm a coin the phrase, we live in that love cycle, that infinite love cycle that way,
Mm-hmm.
then if I have a challenge, then I can come to my wife and just be like, I don't have to sit like, oh man, shit, I don't want to bring that up because that's another god doggone issue that we're about to fight over and I don't want to talk about it. Instead, if we're constantly in that infinite love cycle, then if something comes up, then I can just like, hey baby, you know what? I love you and I love you. But this, that, and the third happened, and this is what I think. This is whatever it is, and we talk about it. And at the end of it, all right, I love you, and we back to happy.
Back to happy. Back to happy. Hearn said, to be a power couple, there is a lot contribute towards each other. There's a lot to contribute towards each other. Yes, there is.
And we're gonna be transparent on this one.
Yes, there is.
We're gonna be transparent.
Okay.
In order to be a power couple, there must be unadulterated trust.
There must be. Oh,
you get that. There must be. Let me give you an example of it. I was giving someone some financial advice today, right? And in giving that financial advice, I told them, I asked the question, I said, look, do you trust your spouse? Do you trust your spouse? And it was like, yes, I trust them. I said, do you really, really trust your spouse? Like, you trust them? No, unequivocally, you trust them. It was like, yeah, I trust my spouse. I said, okay. Then when you get ready to buy your house, put it in his name. Do not finance this house under both people's names. And he was like, why? I said, because if something starts going wrong in your financial life, if both names are on it, both y'all credit is getting jacked up. But if only one person's name is on it and things start going down to the point where now you need to be saved, your spouse's credit is good and can refinance the house in her name, so that then you're still good and you don't lose your house. The other reason is if you have been going at it, things have been great, and you're okay, but then a new interest rate comes out and it's much, much lower and you want to refinance, but your credit's not good enough, but her credit is fine. She doesn't have all that debt load. Then you can refinance it in her name. So as long as you have a spouse that you trust who's not going to say, well, this house is in my name, blah, 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 you're good. But it takes a lot of trust both ways in that, right? It's so funny that it happened. I was going to tell you about
that. Yeah, I was like, I didn't hear this one today.
We hadn't had time. It happened. Yeah, it was when I was at the cigar bar. It was a sidebar conversation that happened. Okay. So, yeah. So you got to have, if you got that kind of trust to be a power couple. Shoot, this could have been subject by itself. This could have been what? How to be a power couple. Oh, we can still do it. We can still do it. We're gonna do that one. This is just a snippet. Thanks, Ernst, for inspiration. But yeah, but trust. And I told the dude, let me put that in the notes. That's a good one. But you got to have that kind of trust, and because think about it, if you truly want to be a power couple, you have to be able to make power moves like that, and trust that your spouse is not trying to upend you or something of that nature. To just know that okay, it could be done that way. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he was syndicated, but I learned that process way back in the early 90s by listening to Clark Howard. Remember Clark Howard? Mm-hmm. Was he syndicated? I don't know if he was syndicated. Or he was just Atlanta. Live to listen to Clark Howard. Yeah. But that was one of the things I heard him say when I was like, just went to the Marine Corps. And he was talking about that. He was like, don't ever finance things in both y'all names because of that whole scenario I just said. Mm-hmm. He never said it's about trusting your mate because he just automatically assumed that you'd be trusting your mate. Right. But the reality of life is that there are couples who don't trust each other because they have that situation, those types of situations where they've had past traumas or anything of that, or for whatever reason. And I can't, I'm not going to throw out any names, but when they do listen to this, they're going to be like, yep. Because I know somebody else who was in the situation where they did that. And when it crossed over into the other person's name, they certainly threw it out there where you can get your and get out because this is my house. Right. So as long as you trust your mate, y'all got that trust built, but building that trust, part of that comes from getting in that infinite love cycle.
Right.
You get in that infinite love cycle and you will start to have that. You can build it, right? And the more and more you build it, the more and more they feel secure in the emotional connection, the better it will get as far as everything outside of that. Like in the bullseye, that emotional spiritual connection is center. That's the center bullseye. Everything else is the second tier or the third tier. How you conduct your finances may be the third or fourth tier. But you get that center first. And it works. That's why, like in marketing, it's like we don't market from the what, the how. Most people market from the what, the how, and never the why, and they don't go to the why. If you think about it, when you ask a person, "Tell me about yourself," well, I own a daycare. I got 2 kids. I live in Covington. You're telling all the what's and everything, but that's not why you are who you are. Who are you? That's not who you are.
Right. That's right.
We never talk about from our why. And that's what we always asking, why are you here? Right? So even when you talk about the love language with your spouse, think about it this way. I know what to give you. I know how to give it to them. Why? Why? And she may not even know. She saw Little Mermaids and something clicked with her with mermaid. There's a why in there about mermaids. So what will help me to do it? Oh man, what they be doing when they be in church? Oh, they had a breakthrough or something like that. Because this wasn't planned. This wasn't a thought process. I honestly, people, we transparent here. I've never actually thought about this. If we were talking about business and marketing, I always think about why, how, and what, right? But in God's honest truth, if I understand your why to your love languages, then my how and my what come more. If I internalize let me rephrase, if I internalize your why, I'm a genius. If I internalize your why, right? Because like I've told her that my affection, my why for physical touch comes from the fact that first, my mother was very affectionate with me. We always hugged, we danced, always. Me and my mom, that was there's a picture that my brother loves to throw up where I'm just laying on my mom. Right? We've always had that kind of a connection. Then the other part of my why is that I grew up with my grandparents and I watched my grandmother desire that. And I see my grandfather not give her that type of affection. But I knew she wanted it. So she loved on me a lot, not in a creepy way, but she, me and my grandma, that was my grandma was my road dog. We went everywhere. Back in the day when you went to the grocery store, the bread store, the meat store, the fish store, the plant store, every other store. We did it. That was my best friend and my grandmother. But I used to love on my grandmother because I saw the pain that she felt from my grandfather, who was a great provider, but you married and not until you tell your wife that you love her one time in the entirety of your marriage, and then you're gonna go off and die like 6 months later. What kind of BS is that? Right? Love my grandfather, but that was BS. So my why for physical touch, that's where it comes from, right? What I got from my mother and the pain that I knew my grandmother was feeling, right? So that's where it comes from. When you understand a person's why, and you can internalize it. You have to internalize it, meaning you got to feel it. I guarantee it will make you better able to do the how and the what. So why mermaids, baby?
Mhm.
Tell the people why mermaids. Do you even know why?
So we were in Germany when
Mhm.
The Little Mermaid came out. And how was my my okay, of course, being over there, and we got movies late. Like it came in late after they got it in the States. So like we wouldn't even want to talk to our family back in the States when movies and stuff came out because like we don't even know about it. Like, why y'all telling us? Don't tell us. So my little sister was 5. Anique was 5 or 6. I want to say she was 5 because Rajan was my son was born when she was about 5. And The Little Mermaid came out, and of course everybody, like anything new overseas, you want to try to get it first. So The Little Mermaid came out, and we got it. We were like one of the first ones to get the VHS.
Mhm.
VHS. Oh my gosh, we were. It's been out.
Oh,
So we were like one of the first ones to get the VHS. And the movie was bought for my little sister. So everything came out with the movie. Of course, the shirts so she had all the Little Mermaid gear. Like my mom bought her Little Mermaid sweater, and then she had the panties, and she had the socks with the Little Mermaid and the boots. Like literally everything was Little Mermaid. So she watched The Little Mermaid. She loved it. But I found myself watching it more than she did because, of course, she was like my sidekick. And I got it for her, and it was for her, and she watched it. And I don't know if that was like a a pivotal happy time in my life.
You know, that's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah,
It represents this extreme, one of the highest, happiest times of your
of
life.
my life. Yeah. And my son was born.
Mhm.
Um and
And it sounds like you were surrounded by the house and everything surrounding was just so much love and fun and happiness.
it was. Although, I got pregnant at 19 and mom could have flipped her lid or whatever, she didn't. She made the environment so loving, and it was, accepting, and his father was there, and although we weren't married, um, you know, he had permission to come to the house and be there all day to help me take care of Rajan.
So love, happiness, and everything is gonna be all right.
Yeah,
I got my family.
Everything was
Symbolized by that.
Yeah, and I enjoyed my years over in Germany. Like I met um like most of the girls, my girls in the wedding in February, my bridesmaids. There are more of them that I met in Germany in the wedding than the others. They're all important, but like Germany was like a great time for me. I never thought about that. I never thought about why. I
Get your
never,
epiphany here.
yeah, I never thought about why the Little Mermaid. Why? Like people would ask me that. Like, why you love the Little Mermaid? And I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
Like you had an epiphany there.
No, yeah,
A eureka moment.
yeah, yep. And that would be my answer. I don't even know why I love the mermaid so
No,
much.
that is
But
your answer.
that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
I would say when people would ask me,
okay.
I wouldn't even know. I just love Little Mermaid. But wow. Now I know why. Thank you.
Hey,
Yes. Thank you.
that's what good husbands Let me start going back to the bathroom.
It is fine.
Okay, I mean, but and that see, I've never understood her affections towards Little Mermaid. So of course,
Sorry.
no. I'm about to say something gonna get me in trouble.
Uh-oh.
So of course there have been some times that I saw something mermaidish, and I looked at the tag. And I was like, or there were times where I was like, I see it, and I'll say, I come back and get it. I come back and get it. And you know how that goes. You don't go back and get it, or you go back and it's gone. And then you brush it off and be like, oh, well, you know what? I see something else. I'll catch something else. But now understanding how what it really means and how it affects her. I mean, I've seen the effect, but you don't know you see the outward effect.
Mm-hmm.
Never, but I didn't know the deeper connected effect. Now knowing that, it takes it to a whole nother level for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now it means even more to me to ensure that I can replicate that emotional and that energetic and spiritual connection that she has to not just the time frame, but the feeling of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that. You see what I'm saying? This is why y'all tune in to Marriage Monday. This is why y'all need to be at this doggone wedding. February 2021. Because we getting deep. This is why y'all need to subscribe, damn it.
Oh, no, damn it.
No, I'm damning it.
Damning it.
I'm damning it.
Damning it.
Because I will say this right now. Out of all the shows we've done, and we've done about 20 plus shows, to me, that moment there was the most profound, one of the most profound, if not the most profound moment that we've had. And truly one of the biggest lessons that I think everybody should take is that whatever your spouse's love language is, dig into the why, not the and so that not so much about the how and the what's, because how and what's becomes chores.
Right.
But when you understand and you're deep and you're connected to their why, then it becomes a part of you. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Don't tell my wife. There's a whole stirring feeling going on right now that I understand her why more. So don't tell her. See it. All right. So yeah. And I'm gonna steal that whole thing from one of my channel videos just to let you know my alpha.
You just let them know where it came from.
Oh, I don't know.
So all right, guys. Once again, we appreciate it. You're right. Tonight was very profound.
Yeah, she's gonna be talking about this, guys, for the rest of the night. I'm going to sleep. We can go get some.
We sure are. All right, y'all.
All right,
y'all have a good night. We'll see you guys next Monday. We have about 5 more subjects, literally, that I just added to what we can talk about. And actually, they were coming to me as we were talking. Just some things kind of popped up, and I think it would be great for us to discuss. All right, so Hearns, we appreciate you.
Yeah, because
Paul, what do you say? Paulette. We see there are other people on here, but their names, they're not commenting, so I'm not quite sure
but we want to thank
who they were. But thank you, for being here. And we will see you guys next Monday. Y'all enjoy your evening, and we love you.
And wait, before we go, I'm going to say this. When we hit 50 subscribers, we're at like 32 right now. When we hit 50 subscribers, so I need y'all to subscribe, we're going to have a giveaway. Don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be a giveaway. We're giving away something.
Something.
Right? Hey, I own a popcorn shop. It could be popcorn, but we don't know. It's going to be something. It might be something different. Could be something different. You don't know. It's a surprise. Hit the subscribe button.
Please hit the subscribe button.
And the bell icon.
We want to build. The subscribe button and the bell icon. So when we're on, that bell will ring and you'll know, Marriage Monday.
All right.
All right. Love you guys.
And remember why you're here.
Why you're here.